Hello, Chulai.
Hello, Ian. How are you?
Hello, I'm all right, thank you.
Long time no see, I'm going to say. Of course, the listeners have been with us every week.
They've been with us every week,
Every
yeah,
week,
but
but you've
we
been
did a bit of
away.
time, we did a bit of time travel to get around that
We did,
conundrum,
haven't
didn't
we?
we?
Good. How was your holidays?
Yeah, well, the secret is out now. Yeah, I've actually spent the last 3 weeks in South Africa with our family who live over there, and it was
Amazing.
wonderful. And it makes you realise how cold this country is when you come back. Although I think I did come back from Africa once, my first trip to Africa in 1998, to not to South Africa. This was before I'd met Anna and
Right.
her family. But I went to see some friends in Zambia that were working there. And when I came back, it was 12 degrees in January, which for the UK was like really brilliant. But I was
Yeah.
stood there at the bus stop shivering away. So it's all relative. It's all,
Yeah.
but 3 weeks of summer three less weeks of winter and 3 more weeks of summer has been a really good thing for me. You can't really see the suntan as I lean close to the camera because I put too much sun cream on to protect myself, but I suppose that's a good thing to do. And
Hmm.
above all, it was just people say, have you had a good holiday? Yes, we've had a good holiday, but it's more than a holiday because it's like it's a family visit and it's like home
Hmm.
from home. So it's
Okay.
just like home in the sunshine during Christmas and New Year. So Christmas in the warmth, New Year in when it's sunny enough to go swimming in the sea down the road and stuff is weird
Okay.
because you
Yep.
don't normally go swimming on Christmas Day and stuff like that,
Or you don't
outside
go
of the sun.
swimming full stop in the UK, more or less.
Absolutely,
Apart
yeah.
from last year, maybe a
Yeah.
little bit, but that was it.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, my sort of big thing that I did, and it's for those of that are actually watching this on visual, actually seeing us rather than just listening on the radio or whatever. It's the sunrise sunset behind reminds me of that one sunrise I walked down to the tidal pool, which is about half a mile down the road from where we were staying, and had a swim watching the sun come up.
Oh, wow.
Down there in the
Amazing.
tidal pool of the sea, which was not warm like a bath, but actually not freezing cold. It
Wow.
was comfortable to be in for 10, 15 minutes to watch the sun come up. There were one or two other people about. There was a couple down there throwing ball in for their dog and stuff, but I was the only one in the water at that
Amazing.
time in the morning. But it was great, a great experience. So yeah, so that was well worth getting up. That was like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
So starting to walk down at 5, getting the water about 20 past, then sun was up just after
It's about
5:30.
eight, about 10 past 8 here, so you can go down to the coast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Although,
So I mean,
over Christmas it was 12 degrees in the UK as well. So
yeah. Well,
you did
that's
come to
fantastic.
back to a colder, much colder UK
Yes,
in
it had
January, so
dropped. You're right. It had dropped down.
considerably.
Yeah, indeed.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about weather or your holiday for that matter, as
Oh,
much as, of
shame,
course, we
shame. I thought
want
this was
to.
the holiday special. I've got a load of notes all lined up here to talk about.
Oh, well, maybe leave it for another time.
Okay, right. Throw those away. Another time.
So, we said a couple of weeks ago that we would talk about the word of the year. I know we spoke about our words of the year from 2023 and how we
Yeah,
lived into it, and how that having a word of the year gives us the kind of purpose and focus on living around
yeah.
that sort of specific word and action, whatever. So this is why I wanted to bring back the word of the year 2024, and we will share our words of the year and what it will mean to us and why we chose them and how we
Yeah.
intend to live into them. So yeah.
Okay. All right. I better try and think of one quickly then, I suppose.
You better.
No, it's all right. I'm only joking. We were talking about it before. We've done it last year, so I knew what was coming. So no, it's not a
Mm,
surprise to me,
good.
really.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what options I was thinking about before, but one word does kind of keep coming back to me and saying, am I really going to have this word? Or no, surely I can think of something better or different. No, it kind of keeps coming back to me. So yeah, I have made a decision.
Okay.
I have got a word, and it, I think what this is all about for me is the discussions we've had in the past about New Year's resolutions, because
Right.
we can't help talking about it even still now. I know we're double digits of January already, but
Oh,
we
no.
can't help talking about New Year's resolutions and
Right.
how they fail. And we're not going to have that discussion again necessarily. People can go back and listen to somewhere amongst the 125 odd episodes that we've now got of Finding Serenity in the Midst of Chaos and find out more details of conversations we've had on that. But we decided that it's better if we pick a word. And that makes a lot of sense to me, because then you can focus on that word. So last year, 2023, my word was simplicity. So that manifested itself in me trying to do exactly what the word said, trying to keep things simple, trying to enjoy the simple things in life, but trying to decomplexify, if that's a word, any
It's a very simple word, not
a very simple word. Yes, doesn't really fit with the model. So it needs a bit of work, that one. So I did spend some time just trying to make certain things a little bit easier. Whether that's just like for example, I've found a new little app for a shopping list, and that just means that myself and my wife can collaborate together without, keep swapping and sending things between each other. We can just see the same document and add and take away from it. Just makes things a little bit easier in a practical way. So that's a very practical example.
Okay.
Anyway, that was just a taste.
Was last year.
That was last year. So you let me know when you're ready for me to reveal my 2024 word
anytime
of the
now
year.
would be good.
I got a feeling, she wanted me to do it 2 minutes ago. So my word is another word beginning with S. Surrender.
Okay.
Now that sounds really quite negative and backwards, I think, in a way.
Why do you think it sounds negative, Ian?
Surrender. It's like hands up, do what you like with me. I am not worthy. You have full power over me. You have full control. I surrender. I lay down, walk all over me.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Isn't it?
That is one meaning
I'm going
for
with
it, I guess.
And that's not what I mean at all when I'm thinking about how that's going to help me this year.
So please tell us, what is it that you mean about it?
It's, again, it's a lot of stuff that we've talked about over the last year, over the last, 3.5, getting on for 4 years now.
I know. Oh
at the time of this recording. So, since March 2020, the start of the pandemic, we've been talking about a lot of topics. So surrender for me is all about figuring out about where you put your energy. And discerning, there's another good word. It could be that could be a word of the year, discern, but I like to think I've got that in all, that's something you take through in every year, really.
Okay.
The discernment. So deciding between what's good and bad and understanding what's the difference. So
discerning.
Yes. But surrender is all about letting go of stuff that's unhelpful or I can't do anything about. So moaning about the weather is not going to be part of my year. That's a stupid example because it's not really something I do anyway, but I'm just trying to make it clear for everybody listening. It's a very obvious example of something that you can't do anything about. That's probably not very nice, and you don't like the grey skies and the miserable weather and the cold temperature and whatever, but can't do anything. So surrender, just forget it, move on. What can I, where can I put my attention? Where can I put my energy? What can I make a difference in? So then focus on, and this is all part of my thinking about how much it's important to focus on your strengths and not your weaknesses. I've got a few. I'll save these for later on in the podcast, but I've got a couple of things that I've come across as I've been reading and been on holiday and looking at various things, having conversation. Some little just gems of sayings and things that are quite helpful and perhaps fit with my idea of surrender.
I love it.
So it's all about strengths and not weaknesses, not trying to improve on something that I'm not naturally cut out for, because there's other people that can do that better than me. So leave that to them and get on with what I do well and polish the things in my life that I'm already good at and can already make a difference at, and surrender the rest. There you go.
I love that. Actually, you know what? This is so funny. our words in a way are very synchronized, and
Oh yeah.
kind of the idea behind and what you've just said, focus on what you are good at, and let other people who are good at other things help you,
Yeah.
and you complement each other, which is very much what I'm really intentionally doing at the beginning, since the beginning of this year, even though I only started working 3 days ago due to
Yeah,
school
good. Good.
holidays,
Glad to hear
etc.
it.
Yes, so my word for the year is intention.
Okay. Okay.
And
Simple as that. Yeah.
intention, yeah, I was almost gonna go for detachment, which is
Yes,
very much
okay.
similar to surrender in a way.
In a way, yeah.
But intention almost also encompasses both surrender and detachment.
Hmm.
But it also is a much more powerful in a way that you set out. We spoke about intentions versus goal setting, didn't we, in many
Oh
months
yeah,
ago in a
indeed. Yes.
podcast.
That's right.
And perhaps we've repeated it several times since.
Hmm.
It's about when you set goals, it's outside of you. It's because somebody else has set it for you, or
Hmm.
you set it because someone else has set it as
Hmm.
well. You kind of
Yeah.
is an external thing, whereas the intention is something that it's going to happen regardless
Hmm.
of whether uh, it's raining, whether it's whatever. You're going to make that happen. So this
Hmm.
in the word intention has a certainty and a knowing about it. So it clears away the self-doubt that people might be having. And when you set a goal, you don't often know whether you're going to achieve it, and the chances are, because it's something that you haven't done before, you probably have a lot of doubts whether it will actually happen or not, and
Hmm.
therefore you don't commit to it fully
Hmm. Hmm.
as a
Yeah.
person in from inside and out,
Right.
and therefore you fail most of them. This is why most people fail their goals at the beginning, is when they set the New Year's resolutions, as we call them, as you said before. So whereas the intention is you're basically putting a stake in the ground and saying, this is what I'm doing. And I don't
Yeah.
care what comes in my way. I don't care if I
Hmm.
don't know how to do it. I know somebody who does
Hmm.
know how to
Yeah.
do it, and I'm going to go and get the help from that person.
Yes. Yeah.
So
So
it's
that's it.
basically
That's
your
intention. Yeah.
intention is basically your commitment to making something happen.
Yeah.
Fully
Without
commit,
knowing the
yeah,
full details.
without knowing the full details. Exactly. It's beautiful, beautifully, perhaps almost dictionary description,
There you go. Got a
possibly.
dictionary here. You see, it's. I'll put it down now and just go with
Without knowing
myself.
the full details. I love it. But at the
No, that's
same time,
yeah.
you kind of, without having the knowledge of all the details, but you still know this, inner knowing, as we spoke about many times before.
Yes.
Like, you don't know how the sun comes up every morning, you don't know
Mm.
what journey it goes through, and
Yeah.
sometimes when the cloud is there, you don't see the sun. But just
Yeah.
because you don't see the sun doesn't mean
That's
it's not
right.
coming out.
Let's see, looking out the window.
So
Yeah, but
you
it's
you
it's
have
true.
that knowing that the sun is always there.
Yeah.
So it's that sort of knowing that we are talking about when we set the intention to achieve
Mm.
something. We give our full attention. And I really like what you said. I'm being more selective on where I put my energy in, you said.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as we said many times before, where you put your energy, where you put your focus, your energy flows, and you're
Mm.
focusing intentionally in a way. So
Mm.
your word has the intention almost built within it,
Mm.
that you're putting your focus on some things that you can control, which
Mm.
are not very many things, but there are a few things you can control. So you,
Yes,
you are
indeed.
putting
Yeah.
your focus on that,
Yeah.
and your energy is flowing into that, as opposed to being wasted on the things that are outside of you, like
Yes.
the chaos in the world and the weather that's constantly changing, somebody else's mood that constantly changes. Is Those are the things that has nothing to do with you, and therefore you don't have to put your attention onto them. Whereas and I mean, the word surrender, let's just delve into it a little bit more
Okay.
for the benefit of our listeners,
Sure. Yeah.
especially coming from what you just said. Let's say the internet has gone wrong in one of those days, especially if, like you and I, we rely on the internet a lot. My
Yeah.
work is online, your work is online. And if it's gone wrong, that's it. It's kind of the end of the world. Oh my God, what's going
Mm.
to happen? And when is it going to be fixed and whatever. But instead, so you can focus your energy, why is it not working, when is it going to be fixed and whatever. Or you could just focus your attention on, well, you know what, I know eventually it will get fixed. In the
Yes.
meantime, I'm going to go and find another way to make it work. I mean,
Hmm.
this happened to me like almost like just after the lockdown had finished in
Mm.
2020, right in
Yeah.
the middle of the day, the internet just all of a sudden disappeared. Like, what?
Mm.
How
Mm.
did this
Yeah.
possible? And then
Yes.
in fact, at that time, we didn't even have a way to contact the people.
Yes.
There
Yeah.
was no phone number, so you can contact
Yeah.
through the internet. Hilarious, isn't it? How ironic is that? But
That's
anyway, we
great. I
could
love
find
that.
a way to contact them. And it will take 3 hours, whatever. It's like 3 hours, that's a whole work day gone, more or less, you know?
Yeah.
I said, well, you know what? Whatever. It will get fixed when it will get fixed. I
Mm.
can't change it. I can't do anything. I can't make it faster. I just let it go. And within
Mm.
less than an hour, it was fixed already. So that's
Yes.
the
Yes.
surrendering part, is that
Mm.
where you have no control over anything. You no longer put your energy and focus on it. It gets resolved a lot quicker than you think. So that is the beautiful part of the surrender, just because, there's outside forces that are helping
Mm.
this happen.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I do feel at times perhaps we can get in the way of stuff, if you know
Yes,
what I
very much
mean.
so.
Some
Absolutely.
I've
Yeah.
I've noticed sometimes if I've just got out of the situation, it's kind of sorted itself out without my input and things. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's strange in a way, but
Mm.
yeah, there is that.
There is that. So that's good. So what you said, you had a couple of gems you wanted to share with us.
Yeah, just picking up though on your wasted energy. It reminds me, I did a couple of I used to like going canoeing, as a child, and I got a chance to go a couple of about 3 years or so ago to have another go, and the guy was saying you're putting your oars back too far. In other words, you're wasting energy that isn't being translated into motion forward. He said by the
Wow.
time you've got 3/4 of the way, take your oar out and put it back again. Don't go all the way full. I know this is very technical stuff and very canoeing focused, and I didn't really fully understand it. But basically, what he was saying is you're just going any further than what I'm telling you is wasting your energy. You're not,
Okay.
that
Mm.
energy isn't getting translated into speed
Sure.
or of the
Yeah.
boat. You're
Mm.
just wearing yourself out, but not the boat isn't going any faster.
Yeah,
So
yeah, 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 yeah.
just about wasted energy. That's
I like
and that
that.
is part of
As we were
surrender.
saying, if you can go up a hill on a bike
Yes,
that has no gears or is a bit
yes,
old and whatever, you
that's
can
right. That's
put
another
so
good
much
one. Yeah,
effort, but the effort isn't being
yeah.
translated into an actual result, is it? Yeah.
That's right. So I'm not refusing to cycle to the top of the hill, but I am refusing to do it on a rusty old bike. I want to do it on an efficiently running
Yeah.
bike that's been oiled, that's got gears, that's
Mm.
efficient. Absolutely. Because when I
Yeah.
get to the top, I want to still have some reserve.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Yeah.
So a couple of gems, and I think it fits really with surrender and intention because we were talking about, stuff that you decide you're going to do and the commitment you put into it. This you'll like this one, I think. So I've got three things in front of me here. This
Okay.
is number one. It says, now believing you can doesn't guarantee that you will, but
Okay.
believing you can't guarantees you won't.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
I knew you were going to like that.
Really
That got
good.
you written all over it when I read that.
Yeah. Yes, because it is a decision, isn't it? You can't do it. You can't do it because you won't even touch it. It's
Yeah.
guaranteed failure because you won't even
Yeah.
try.
Yeah, it's a bit like the only project that is guaranteed to fail is the one that you
You
never
never
start.
start, right?
It's a
Yeah.
bit the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
In a
yeah.
way.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, yeah. So believing you can doesn't guarantee that you will, but believing that you can't guarantees you definitely
It
won't. So I
won't.
thought
Yeah.
that's
I
quite a
love it.
nice
That's
one.
good.
Yeah, I've got another couple of ones as well. Now this one comes from a Christian commentator, so it does mention God. I'm going to read it just as he's done it. I know God isn't for everybody and
Mm-hmm.
everything, but let's just read what it says, and then we can generalize it. So it says, try. This comes back to my surrender and strengths and weaknesses. So trying to develop in an area where God hasn't gifted you is like trying to instruct a rabbit to swim or a snail to run. When you're in your God-given slot, working with your God-given strengths, you're at your best. So we're not here to argue whether God gave us our gifts and strengths or not, or whether they just came from whatever source or whatever. But the truth is we all have them, even if we can't agree where they came from, we all have them. So this is talking about trying to develop in an area that is not you, is like trying to get, I love that, a rabbit to swim or a snail to run.
That's fantastic.
And that's, my surrender and is that I'm not going to try and be a rabbit learning to run, or a snail a snail trying to run and a rabbit trying to swim.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
I'll be a rabbit trying to run, yes, but
that would be quite good. Yeah,
not the other way around. Absolutely.
But no, that makes so much sense.
So that was it. There is one more just to throw in, and this is about good communication, which is something I'm quite passionate about, because and it's really something that good communicators do. So imagine you've just listened to somebody saying something. It's all about making us aware of how perhaps we interpret things different. We think we know what somebody's just said, but maybe we don't. So it just says this. So your response to what somebody's just told you, right, let me tell you what I heard so I can see if that's what you meant.
Yeah.
Do you like that?
Yeah.
Not as much as the first one, but yeah. Let me tell you what I heard.
Understand. I was just trying to take in what you actually.
Yeah, I know it's all too much, isn't it? I've had a few weeks to think about this, but it's just basically checking with somebody that what I think you've told me is that your sister's being a pain in the neck and the brother's supporting her, and you're left out, and then, oh no, I'm not saying that. No, my brother's really good. Oh, sorry, okay, I misunderstood. It's just about checking.
It's all your own interpretation based on what's in your head at that moment in time, because half the stuff we don't really even, never mind listen, we don't even hear half the stuff, because most of the time we are having that dialogue in our own head, isn't it? So yes, definitely I understand. And this is why most coaches do that. I heard you say this.
Yeah.
This is true. You kind of validate what you've heard with the person, because you could easily have your own interpretation of, and hearing what someone said out loud for themselves being said by someone else is also good for them in a way, because they don't often hear what they say out loud, because they are also in their head in a funny way,
Yeah, that's right. And just tying that back to my word surrender, so how does that sort of come back?
Yeah, how does it come back?
It's just about not wasting energy on trying to solve a problem that isn't there. Because if I think I've understood their problem, and I want to help and put my energy into it to help them, so, I'm chasing after the wrong problem if I haven't heard it properly.
That's right. But not only that, you can't solve anybody's problems. That's also the thing. And you can't solve a problem by constantly focusing on a problem. We kind of alluded to this before.
We have,
you just have to acknowledge that it exists and just leave it.
Yeah,
that's where the surrender
but you get the point
from.
about not, getting the correct understanding in order to not waste a lot of time going down a misunderstood avenue.
Yeah. We are very good at creating problems that don't exist, aren't we?
Yeah, well, that's right. Yes.
Never mind solving the existing ones, but creating ones that don't even exist.
Let's solve the ones that are there without creating any more. Yeah. My mother used to say to me, she'd ask me to do something, and quite often I'd do something, and she said, "You've done one job and you've made me another." Because she wanted me to polish the stairs, and I've moved everything out and I haven't put it back, so now she's got to put things. It's you solve one thing and you create another one. So it's all about just what I'm getting at here is the surrender. Let's just surrender to the rubbish and stuff, and let's just use our energy wisely. Put it into put it in something good. Don't waste time and energy, basically.
And it's also kind of letting go of this having to control everything. And that gives you stress, anxiety. Most people are in stress and anxiety because they want to control the outcome. They want to control how a certain outcome is achieved. They want to control how people are, the way the people are going about to achieve that specific outcome. And then they basically that's focusing their energy in completely the wrong places.
Mm.
And what it does end up happening is that they are drained out of their energy, they get
Yeah.
burnout, they get, panic attacks, whatever.
Mm.
And the result isn't achieved, or it is achieved, but not in the same way that it
Mm.
could have been a lot easier, if that makes sense, for
Yes.
everybody involved. But
Yes.
it's
Yeah.
still, there is no satisfaction, there's no winners in this process. So
Mm.
let's all practice a lot more letting go
Mm.
instead of trying to control the process of everything being achieved. Let's set the intention for a certain outcome and commit to it fully
Uh-huh.
from
Uh-huh.
inside and out in order to
Yes.
achieve that. And that doesn't
Yes.
mean let's get attached to the outcome and therefore
Hmm.
we just control everything.
Yeah.
And I guess one episode isn't enough to delve into the details, and this is why it is our word of the year. And
Yeah.
as we go through, we can bring an element to how we've lived into that specific word each and every day, or each and
Yeah.
every week, perhaps, as we
Absolutely.
speak, because that's as we said many times before, the embodiment of this work is what's important, the application,
Mm.
living it day in, day out, that
Yeah.
makes it more important, that makes it permanent, really,
Yeah.
as opposed to just talking about it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's it. And that lifts you upwards. That gets you in a
that's
better
right.
place. And
Yes.
life becomes better and richer and more fulfilling and
Yeah. Talking of which, in
peaceful.
fact,
Yeah.
you said at the beginning, we talked about how New Year's, new goals, how how most people fail.
Yeah.
In fact, uh, back by most popular demand, I'm doing that masterclass again this next Wednesday, which will be the 17th of January. Talk
Right.
about why your SMART goals are failing you every year because
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
smarter than them.
Ah, love it.
Yeah, it's kind of one of the biggest pitfalls we all fall under, the SMART goals that we set at the beginning
Yeah.
of each year, and why we constantly fail them. By the end of this week, or next week even, most people would have already given up on the goals that they've set for themselves. And this class will explain to you
Yep.
why that happens year in, year
Yep.
out, unless we change something. And I'm going to give
Right.
you what you need to change and how give you a whole new way of setting goals so that you never fail them again. So
That sounds really good. Okay,
yeah,
so that's a masterclass of yours coming up on Wednesday, the 17th of January.
that's correct. And I
What
have
time of day?
it's 12 at lunchtime.
So it's
And
12 UK time. Yeah.
12 UK
Okay.
time. And if you attend live, you also get and answer a question, say the end, you have the chance to get a free coaching with me.
Okay.
And the way to register is basically www.tulaimassicoaching.com/no more setting smart goals with a dash between
In
each
each
word.
word. Okay.
It's as simple as that. Yeah, I would love to see you all there. Come and join us and find out how to set those goals every year so that you never have to fail them again. Yeah.
Sounds good to me. I can't think of a reason that people wouldn't want to know what that is and to move for that. That can make a real big difference to people, I think.
Yeah.
And then, well, yeah, okay, we'll wait on that one and we'll find out. Though, all
We'll
those of
find
the
out.
people that register and join
Yeah,
will certainly get the benefit of finding
definitely.
that one out. Well,
Definitely.
we are well over time.
Well over
I
time,
don't
aren't we?
care. I'm not going to worry about that or put my energy into that too much, but we will stick to that. And yeah, we really have run out of time. So, Chile, I look forward to another conversation with you next time.
Likewise.